Customer dropped this trans off, 4L60. Said it had a Corvette servo. Let's see if it did. Negative. Customer stated they paid $600 for this rebuild. Well, you get what you pay for. So let me remind you folks out there looking to buy a transmission, cheap isn't always better, it's usually worse. So I say to you, make sure you pay top dollar for your rebuilds and that they're reputable. All right, let's see what's in this one. This is the one that claimed to have a Corvette servo. And the customer also stated that he found a bolt in here, but he did not have the bolt. So we're going to try to find where this bolt came from. Here's the pan. Yeah, I'd say it's about time for a rebuild. I don't see any missing bolts right now. That all looks good to me. So there's nothing there. Got the deal. It's got the later model EPC. Here's your accumulator, spacer plate, all the bolts are there. So nothing missing from there so far. So we shall see. All right. Take this off. That obviously needs to be replaced. This is that one that customer stated it was built for $600. Let's see what you get for $600. Oh, take that off. Take this off. Oh boy. Look what we got here. Look at this, folks. See, it's all damaged. We'll have to give the customer a new one of them bad boys. So that's that. All right. PWM solenoid. Okay. Get all this together. All looks fine. Not a very good gun. Lose this touch. All right, here's the other issue. Shallow pan filter. This is how you tell that it is a deep well. Shallows all the way across. So, and you can kind of see there's a little, it's kind of dented in. We'll straighten that out. They can sometimes cause issues. But this is probably one of the main issues is you can't put all this in the water. You have to use the right filter, so it's a deep filter for this particular trans. Manifold pressure switch. You can also see the thermostat, or not thermostat, but where it keeps the temperature. You can just see there's just gunk all in this. See that? There's no telling. Customer stated that reverse went out and it just pretty much lost all the gears, but that's just nasty. We'll check everything to see if that one did. Yeah, see, this one's just completely trashed. So we'll just replace this thing completely. Yeah, this is very important. I've been starting to replace all those. $600 trans. Can't believe this. People are actually selling these things. It's crazy. These are the 3 that you have to have in the right spot or it will lock up. Just pull the valve body off. Here's a bunch of check balls coming out of there. You can just see the valve body is just extremely dirty. Just caked. I mean, just dirty. $600. So, valve body. Check it out. That all looks good. We'll test this later. Take this EPC off. We replace these EPCs every single time. Reason is you just can't test them really. You can ohm them out, but that don't always mean that they're going to work properly. So we just put a new one. You could tell, I mean, this wasn't done too long ago, folks, and it's just not new. So he just put an old one in there, sent it on down the road. We replaced that. Obviously, the solenoids were junk, and the customer did state that felt like that one of the solenoids was jacked up, and you can tell they did say that they put a new one in there, but we'll probably replace those too. Here's the valves. Yeah, we'll get those. So those move pretty good, so not too bad. There's a spring there. Torque converter valve, let's see what they did with it. It's normal, see it just moves. What we do with this is we actually keep the valve from moving so it doesn't wear out the valve bore. Anyway, just a little bit of see if I can get this out. Sometimes it can be a booger. See this one, you can just tell there's just a bunch of trash in this trans keeping it from moving. See right here. Oh, I can't freaking get it out right now. All right, the torque converter valve, the one I was trying to get out, had a bunch of trash to prevent it trying to get out of there. It goes in like this. The problem with these are the amount of travel that happens in there. And what happens is they move back and forth like this, and it actually will wear out the bore in here and it causes a leak path. And so what we do is we make sure that the bore's not wore out, and then we block this valve and keep it from wearing out that bore, and does great. So that's what we do in our transmissions. This is your AFL valve. We upgrade it too. It's for pressure. It stands for actuator feed limit valve. So what we're trying to do is get this valve out. These are the main valves that we upgrade. And anyways, and then we take this off, but we'll do that in a moment. But yeah, that's kind of the basic. We concentrate on your shift solenoids, your AFL valve, and your torque converter valve. And then we obviously make sure that this is moving like that. That needs to move just like that. So $600 trans right here, right there. There's that. Now we have there's no need for these to be that tight. All these bolts get torqued to 8 foot-pounds. So no need for that to happen. Let's see what this is. Sometimes these springs will break. It actually just looks like that it's probably the original O-rings is what it feels like. Didn't even put new ones on it. Spacer plate. Like I said, these should be at 8 foot-pounds. Oh. Let's check this bad boy out. This is your separator plate. You know, the 4L60s are getting older now. And I don't know if you've built one before, but sometimes these plates, you see that plate, it's just garbage. When you're doing a rebuild and it's not one of those new Transgo separator plates, you need to go ahead and replace it. I started replacing these things about 7-8 months ago, and it's done wonders to my build. And no longer do I have to drill a hole. You know, you can tell all these holes where the check balls are. See, that's all wore out right there. There's some wear there. Those are leak paths, and they need to have complete surface. But we drill these holes for a stock all at 332. That is 332. We drill these holes. Done really good for me, but yeah, I will replace this. I mean, look at all this clutch material right here. See all that? It's a $600 rebuild. It's not even been 6 months. I mean, look at that. There's just a bunch of gook. So we'll replace that. There's a hole back here that this hole right here, we blocked that hole. And gives a good shift. All right. See if you had the right papers for this particular year model, as it's already tore up. But it says CA, and this is, there's your problem. See that? So this right here is the wrong gaskets. It's actually supposed to have, that says CA, and this just has V. So CA stands for case, but you have to have VB on this side. I'll show you the difference. All right, I wanted to explain, you know, we were talking about the $600 transmission, and they're different gaskets. There's two sets. There's these two, which have a C and a V, and we have VB, 2 letters, and we also have CA, 2 letters. CA for case, VB for valve body, and then V for valve body, and C for case. So how do we tell? How do we know which one goes with which? So usually your later models were the CAs and VBs. And usually you can tell by the EPC But you need to go by the separator plate. The separator plate tells you which papers or paper gaskets to use. So this is the easiest way that I've seen. I know other people identify by holes and all that good stuff, but this is, for me, this has been the easiest way to determine which gasket goes with which plate. So if you face your plate like this, right, where the accumulator's on the right side when you're facing it, if you look at it like that, you're gonna see this right here, this single step right there, okay? If you see that single step right there, it is the early model gaskets. And here's what you do. The early model gaskets go with the single letter. So one step, one letter. That's the best way that I have been able to find, and I never make a mistake because I always look at this, and I've made it a habit over the years. I've made mistakes in the past with it, but this is the best way that I've been able to do it so that I don't screw it up. The $600 transmission that we just had, it had a single letter and a double letter, and you cannot do that. You will have problems, okay? So if you look at this one, there is 2 steps. 1, 2. There's 1 and there's 2 when you look at it, okay? If it has 2, it's 2 letters, VB and CA. That's how you figure out which gasket goes with which plate. Remember, the plate determines the gasket to be used inside the transmission. All right, get the pump out. Check it out. $600 trans. Okay, pump bolt. Usually $600 trans have bad pumps in them. Hopefully not. I'd hate it for the customer. And looky there, bad pump right there. That lip, if you watch when I do this, watch my deal. You might even hear that. See how that's just constant pressure? See how it took forever? That's an actual lip there, and it goes all the way around. This is a bad pump. All the way around, you can feel it with this right here. And usually what I do is I take my nail and I go across this. And if my nail gets stuck, I trash the whole trans, or the whole, not the trans, but the pump. So this pump is bad. I'm gonna have to tell the customer they're gonna need a new pump. And so, anyway, yeah, bad news for them. Look at the rest of the pump. See, folks, you get what you pay for. See if we can get this out. I usually take a feeler gauge. Just go out in circles. And it'll come out usually. There it is. Like so. So it had the O-ring on it, so that's good. That comes in a kit, so you can throw that away. Had the updated spring. The valve body says it's an 04. Customer stated the truck was, or not the truck, this coming out of a Camaro Z28. And it was supposed to have a Corvette servo. Of course, we all know it didn't. And you can tell, I can feel the scoring just with the bottom of my finger. This whole pump is trashed. See what it did with the boost valve. This is your torque converter valve. Always try to move it and make sure it's good to go. No boost valve, just regular. This is not good. We put a boost valve in every single one of our builds. Of course that's stuck, but get that out. Let's see what we did here. Just bone stock, no upgrades. These transmissions need to be upgraded every time they're rebuilt, every time. So there you go on that. That's all bad. Got to pop this band right here. See if I can get this out. There we go. Pop this band out right here off the anchor pin, like so. I'll release this drum so you can get to it. Uh-oh. What do we have here? Folks. What's happened is the gear set, lower gear or upper gear set is basically all crunched up in there, and it's keeping it from coming out. This won't be the last trans that this will happen to me, but long story short, this tranny is destroyed. I don't know if I'm gonna... So there you go. That's it for that, boys. Can't go any further than that. We'll try to get this out. See what we can do. $600. This is what $600 will get you. You're gonna need a new whole case and guts from the bottom. So anyway, there you go.